Being able to take time to slow down is probably one of the most difficult things that I've found to do, and that I believe other people can do. And I want to tell you a bit of a story first about me and my struggle with doing this, and maybe you can relate. A couple of years back, when I was in university, I was feeling a little unfulfilled. I wasn't really sure about what I wanted to do, but I knew it wasn't really that. So I decided to look at something new. I found a skill or an interest, and I went and dedicated time to it. And after about 3 or 4 months, I realized that I didn't want to do the university anymore. So I convinced my parents, I left university, and I began dedicating my time to what would be my first business. This was pretty challenging for me. However, the biggest issue with this business, which for reference I spent 2.5 years making, was that I got into it for all the wrong reasons. I got into it simply to make more money and for other very surface level reasons. As a result, I hated the work I did. I dedicated hours to it every single day. I felt miserable with the work I did, and even though I was making some money, it wasn't a lot, and honestly speaking, I found my efforts really weren't worth it. That was really tough for me, and every time I wanted to slow down and wind down, I found myself continuing to worry about the lack of money I was making, the dissatisfaction I had with my current situation. And that always confused me, because I thought, well, when I achieve that certain outcome, when I make this amount of money, things will be different. I'll feel better, and so on and so forth. I ended up burning out after about 2.5 years and had a very difficult decision to make. In the end, I decided to leave that business, to get rid of all my clients and to do something new. And it was a very difficult decision to make, because when you've dedicated 2.5 years of your life to something, you feel, or you can often feel, that leaving it and getting rid of it is almost a waste. But one of the things I learned is that you are never starting over. You're always starting from experience. And that was really nice and comforting for me, because I realized that no matter what I do, how much I fail, I'm always starting with an experience. And that lesson also taught me a lot about what I did and didn't like, and the dangers of getting into something for the wrong reason. I now, at this moment in time, am working on things more meaningful to me, and I'm putting my energy towards more interesting things which I believe might be able to help other people. And if videos like this can also help people as well, then that would be great, and I'd be very happy with that. But one of the most important things with that journey as well is, again, I found it very difficult to wind down, to slow down, and I believe that is for part of the reason why I was burnt out. I wanted to avoid the work I was doing as much as I could, and it caused me a lot of suffering. And so, really, I want you to understand that no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're aiming for, make sure you get into it for the right reasons. Make sure that when you think about that said thing, you actually want to do it, and that is meaningful to you. And so I think when you can find something that's meaningful to you and work towards it, I think that's so beautiful. Because one of the things that I'm finding is I would much rather, especially now, I'd much rather spend an extra year or two to get the end outcome I want, if it at least means that right now I can work on things that are meaningful to me, right? Because I'm finding that I'm enjoying the process of what I do so much more than I ever used to. And I think sometimes we can often fixate so heavily on the end goal, on the end outcome that we're looking for, that we can ignore the process. Because I think it's entirely pointless for us to feel miserable through the whole process of what we do, only to achieve an outcome which feels good for a moment and then distant from the next. So this video is more sure to share a story, but to also get you thinking as well. Because no matter what it is that you want to go on and do in life, I think what is most key is that you get into it for the right reasons. And that when you are getting into it, when you are dedicating time to it, that it should feel good. Now, I'm not saying it shouldn't feel bad. I'm not saying it shouldn't feel stressful. I think all things should still feel that way. But if it doesn't excite you, if it doesn't make you intrigued, if it doesn't make you waking up thinking about it and wanting to do it, then I think that's where the issue lies. I think so many people choose to ignore that feeling than take action. And if that seems like you, then maybe it could help for you to go and do the same. But that's what I'll leave you with. Because again, this is your life. You should act in accordance to it, and so on and so forth. So with that said, I'll leave you with that, and make sure that you come and see me again, because I'll be seeing you very, very soon.